Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Today's video is regarding, well, a new video that I found in my collection of GoPro videos that I took from my dashboard while I was out in Moscow, Idaho. And that was back in December of 2023. And while driving on Willanta Drive, right in this area, as I go around the corner, I turn my GoPro camera out the window and film the 1119 King Road, 1127, you can see 1112 King Road, and you can see 1122 King Road. And if we're looking at a map, this is 1122 King Road right here, this house. This is 1112 King Road. This is one that has all of the footage. Look at all these pins. Those are all different clips that law enforcement will be using to determine the white elantra is moving in the area and circling like a shark. This is 1119 King Road, and this is 1127 King Road. And those are all mentioned in the newly released documents. And it really shows us the route that the elantra was taken. I think the elantra is the backbone of the circumstantial evidence chain that points to Bryan Kohberger. A lot of direct evidence as well, but if you were putting together a circumstantial chain and having the white elantra missing a front license plate and Bryan Kohberger's DNA found on the knife sheath, it's unreasonable to believe that Kohberger isn't the killer. So in the documents, they have 4 different passes, and they're all exactly the same on key elements here. So this one says, this is at 3:31:18, summary, headlights briefly shine on upper exterior of 1127 King Road, indicating a vehicle turning north towards Queen Road from the southern parking area of 500 Queen Road. And where that is right here. So as the vehicle's driving around this lot right here, and as it turns right here, I know I got a lot of crap on the screen, sorry about that, but as it's turning right here, headlights hit the top of 1127 right here, this house. And as you can see right here in this surveillance footage that was released, this is 1119 King Road right here. This is 1127 right over here. So this is the camera that they're using. And when the vehicle turns, it goes out to the right over here. And then as it comes up here, you can see lights on these trees over here. And then when it comes back over here behind 1119 King Road right there, you can also pick up the vehicle's lights going that direction. Now, when the vehicle drives behind 500 Queen Road, as we were talking about, and turns back in that parking lot, lights can be seen up on this building right here, this house at 1127 King Road, right up here in the upper left-hand corner. So again, this is 1127 right here, 1119, and we're on the balcony or the porch of 1112 King Road that has the surveillance footage. So as you see right here, it says the camera is 1112 King Road, and it picks up light on the upper exterior of 1127, and then time's missing. So in this case, the vehicle stayed back behind the King Road residence for over a minute, probably a minute 10 or 20, something like that. And a vehicle matching the description of Vehicle 1 travels westbound on Queen Road, turning north onto King Road. Headlights can be seen shining on trees to the west of the intersection of King Road and Taylor Avenue. And that's actually in this image right here. So if I was just to go a little bit further up the road, from the 1112 King Road camera, they can see, the lights beaming up on trees over here or over here on that camera that's back through there. Now I think that might even be it right there. But it can see lights on the trees back over here. And then headlights are seen southbound on Willanta Drive behind 1119 King Road. So from above, what we just discussed was this camera on 1112 King Road. It's filming this direction, but it's a wide angle lens and could pick up light going this direction. it films the vehicle driving by like this, out this direction, and then lights over here, and it can determine that the vehicle's heading south. Then that same camera picks up lights behind 1119 King Road driving this direction, so it has a continuous loop this direction, and then it heads out and heads down south. And then it does the same thing at 339.35 to 341.01, then 357.27 to 359.04, and then the last one is 407 to 421, and then in the middle of that is the time that all 4 victims were killed, because we know Xana Kernodle was still awake at 4:12 using TikTok. All right, so some of the things that are interesting is this first one at 3:31:18 to 3:33:36. That's 2 minutes and 18 seconds. This one is 3:39:35 to 3:41:01. That is 1 minute and 26 seconds. So this one is much slower. That means the vehicle stopped and waited behind 1122 King Road. Number 3 is 1 minute and looks like 37 seconds. So these two are pretty similar. Doesn't stay very long back behind 1122 King Road. And then the last one here at 4:07:47 to 4:21:15 is less than 13 minutes. So that's the final loop when all 4 victims were killed. So it's interesting that it waited longer on that first one, just waiting and watching. And then in the other trips, you could probably just tell the lights were still on and kept moving and moving and moving. And finally, the lights are off and he was going to make his move. So let's take a look at the new video that I found, and we'll also back that up with some nighttime video that I shot driving around back behind 500 Queen Road, and you can see exactly what law enforcement is talking about. So here we go. The vehicle is exiting. Let me show you where that is on a map. That is right here. So after exiting the area, it's going to drive this direction and around. And the vehicle right now is on Taylor Avenue. It's just about to get on Taylor, just exiting King Road. Now it's on Walanta Drive right now. And that's right there is where the headlights could be seen at 1127 as it's leaving on these trees over here. And then, for some reason, back then I took the camera out and turned it to the left. Now look at how amazing this is. We can just do it frame by frame. This building right here is 1119 King Road. This one right here is 1127. And look, there we go, right here. That is 1112 King Road that has the surveillance camera right here, right next to the door there on the right. It looked like a light, but it was a camera. And so that camera is filming, and you could see this vehicle. Like if this is Koberger's vehicle that I'm in right now, you could see the headlights back here driving around behind on Walanta Drive behind 1119 King Road, which is right here, this building. And this is interesting right here. So if we back it up a little bit, right through there is the parking area. Right back through there. And this is 1127 King Road, where the lights were hitting the top of this building as the vehicle was turning back there. You can even make out some cars back there, right back in here. And so the lights were hitting on the top of that building when the vehicle was turning right to perhaps park. See, there you go. Look right through there. Those are cars in the parking lot behind. So if we're about right here, back here, the vehicle will be driving behind and then turning right. You'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about here in the next video. All right, so let me just play that sort of uninterrupted so you can just watch it. And right there on the left is 1119 King Road, and then 1127 is the building right now outside the window. And then you can see 1122 King Road way over there. And you can also, just by looking at this, see how Kohberger could be monitoring the situation even while driving and checking out the lights to see if anybody's lights are still on. So now we're behind, and we're going to get sort of a unique look of the Ridge Road camera area. So right now we're driving back here, and we're going to take this route all the way around like this, and then down here, and then I'm going to go this way, which isn't one of the routes that Kohberger took. He came the other direction. So here we go, we're driving. And this is where, you get totally confused at night, but sometimes I would have taken a right there, because you can take a right and then the first left, and that's exactly the same. Let me show you where we're at right now, just to give you a perspective. So we were just right there. You could take a right and then a left. So let's continue on. And this is going to go down to, this is Ridge Road right here. It's weird how Willanta and Ridge Road seem to be sort of the same road at times. Okay, so this house right here is the house that has the surveillance footage. And on Google Earth, that is 451 Paradise Drive. So this is Paradise Drive right here. Okay, so we're going to turn left here. And I believe this is Ridge Road. And we're coming in the back direction. And it's a useful thing to look at, because you can see the I think this is 1125 Ridge Road right here. Let's take a look on the map. So that's the key location. Yes, 1125 Ridge Road. And I think there's two cameras here. One maybe in the front, one over here. And when the vehicle comes in from this direction, it picks it up this direction, and then when it turns, another camera picks it up and can follow it as it's turning left up here. All right, so let's go back to the footage. So this is a location here where the vehicle was driving on its initial loop when it came into the area. That lower road is when it drove by Ridge Road at 4:01. So right now we're on Taylor Avenue. And my vehicle will slow down, and it'll show you where one of the video surveillance cameras that filmed it driving by and actually I think I just blew by it there, but it's right back here. And see that? Linda Lane. So just up there is a Linda Lane camera that filmed the car driving westbound at around 3:29 and 47 seconds. And then we'll be pulling onto King Road here. This is a daylight version, obviously. And let me stop the camera, the vehicle right here. That is 1127 right there, and 1119 is just on the right. And you can see that one part of the building's pretty tall. And this is I believe the day before they demolished the building. And this is behind 500 Queen Road. So what we're looking at right now on a map, we just pulled in like this, turn left, and we're back behind here. This is what it does 5 times. It goes back behind here, but 4 times it does the full loop. All right, it's sort of interrupted on the 4th when it does the 3-point turn back here, drives over here, does a U-turn, and then completes it for the final time. Parking back here at probably about 4:08, and then driving away at a high rate of speed at 4:20 and 47 seconds. So here it is behind 500 Queen Road. I think it's helpful to look. You can see how steep it is, but you can see the route that the white Elantra was taking back behind 500 Queen Road, and then comes around back behind. And then see way back there, you can actually see 1127 King Road. Now I'm kind of making a wide turn, but there it is right there. Now that's interesting too, that because I'm taking this wide turn, I wonder if it's speaking to where Koberger's car, how high it went into this parking lot when the headlights beamed onto the 1127 house back there. Because there you can see it right there, and this is 1119 King Road right there. This is 1127 back in the background over there. See that roof that has that shape to it back there? That's it right there. And this is where I parked on this trip out there. All right, so here's another one at night. So on this one, I brightened it up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. But see my headlights? Now, I have a different type of vehicle. I have a Subaru Forester, not an Elantra. Maybe the headlights aim down a little bit more, or maybe higher. Maybe they beam straighter out. I don't know. My car's obviously taller than an Elantra. So we're heading back behind 500 Queen Road right now. And you might even be able to see the headlights hit 1127 when we go around right here. Let's see. So I am high up there. And right back there is 1127. Now my headlights are not the same as his headlights, or the Elantra's headlights. But you can see how, while I'm turning, the headlights go back here and start pivoting. Even on the 1119 King Road, you can see my headlights. See that? And I mean, this is pretty creepy, right? This is exactly where I think Koberger parked, somewhere right in this area. And as you can see, you can look right into Madison Mogan's room. Now, I think we're going to do another pass here, so in a minute here I'm probably going to take off. So right here it's taking off. So this is after the homicides. This is what Koberger would do. As you can see, we're going downhill right now. See the headlights? They're not hitting the house back there. And then as you come down, headlights start hitting different places. And especially when you're back behind 500 Queen Road, you're high, and as you go down, the headlights would move off of buildings, and law enforcement's able to determine where the vehicle was because of the headlight shift on the buildings. I mean, it's really pretty amazing that they do stuff like that. Now notice my headlights are hitting these trees over here as we go around, and that's what the 1112 King Road camera picks up. And then right in this area, I'm behind 1119 King Road, and the camera also on the 1112 King Road building is picking it up. And we're driving back around. This is not the loop that the white Elantra was taking. I originally thought that it kept driving around. I have the exact same circular, well, it's not really a circle, but that same odd loop. I've had that one for the whole time, but apparently he only went on the full loop once. And then, but most of the time he just stayed back in here. So for example, in a minute here, when we go back down to Ridge Road, a couple times he did a U-turn and came back up right towards where we are right now, and then back around to the house. He did that 3 or 4, or maybe 2 or 3 times. The first time he went down there, he turned right. So here we go. We're going to go down here. I'll pause it for a second. I'll tell you. So right here at the bottom of this, the first loop, he came down and he turned right here. And where that is right here. He turned right and went this direction and then back up like that. But he's also, there's time where we don't know where he was for 2 or 3 minutes. So it's possible he came down here and maybe made his way over there. We don't really know. From here you can see the Moscow police station. It's right there. So if you're just parked right over there, you could see it. And maybe he was monitoring. We don't know. I don't know why he would be doing that at that late hour. Perhaps he was aware, as was discussed in the DT interview with Steve Gonzalez, that maybe he was aware that there was some sort of police action going on that night. But on loop number 1, he goes this direction and then eventually comes back up like this, but there's no mention that it came back up this way, so obviously it came up here and then back around to the residence. So we're going to come down here and we're turning left and going around up like that. And again, that house right there to the right, not the one with the light turning on, the one to the right there is the one that had surveillance footage. I think it's 451 Paradise Drive, is that right? Yeah, 451 Paradise Drive. And there's 1125 Ridge Road. I believe this is still Steiner here. I'm not 100% on that. And then right up here is Taylor Avenue. I guess we could pause the video and look. All right, actually back there is Lauder Avenue. It's not Steiner. Steiner was before it crossed Highway 95, I believe. So that was Lauder Avenue, and then this is Taylor. So earlier when I said Steiner, just switch that over to Lauder. So here we are turning left on Taylor. And this is obviously at night, so we're going to be driving by the Linda Lane camera here in a minute. I'm not sure if I slow down. I think that might have been it right there, or coming up here. Yeah, I just slowed down because of it. Maybe right here, just right there on the left. And on the right is Bam Field, where police were talking to some young kids around 3 o'clock. There's Sigma Chi on the right. That's where Xana and Ethan and Bethany were at some point during the night. You know, I think they got home. We don't know what time Xana and Ethan got home now because of those recent documents. And then here we are driving back around. Now look at the headlights. I think this stuff is so fascinating. So see how it goes way uphill here? So when a vehicle is coming back, when it does the U-turn, or the 3-point turn back behind here and comes back, that means the headlights are going to be hitting 1119 King Road. And then as the vehicle goes down the hill, you can see the lights coming down on the building. And it must have paused there for a little bit, so that's why they think it maybe stopped and turned around. So we're going back behind 500 Queen Road again. And my goal of doing this is I want everybody to absolutely understand the minutia information about this area right here. I call it the complex. It's really important. It's going to be huge. So there's the headlights, and it beams over there. My headlights are different, obviously, and it would have hit off of 1127 King Road, and then when it comes back around over here, it would come off of the 1119 King Road. As the vehicle is pulling around the back on Willanta Drive, you can see the headlights again. But when it turns left here, the 1112 King Road camera picks it up as it's driving by. So I don't know if I take off again after a while. Yeah, I guess I do take off one more time. So let's do that. We're about to turn onto Queen Road. And this is right there on the left is 1112 King Road. Surveillance camera picks it up right now. And that's 1119 right there. And then we're about to get out to Taylor Avenue. That's Sigma Chi, obviously, in front of us. It's that close. And then, as you can see, my headlights will be hitting some trees over here. Like back here, see this? And that's what the 1112 King Road camera picks up the lights back there, and it picks it up behind 1119 King Road as it drives by on the street back there. And you can see in even some of the interviews that the reporters have done out there that you can see vehicles on Willanta Drive. All right, so there you go, everybody. I think that should make it really clear what law enforcement is looking at. Just sort of as a recap, each time the vehicle drives around, it comes back behind 500 Queen Road, and as it's turning right here, the headlights hit this building over here, 1127. And then as it pulls away from here, it drives this direction. This camera picks it up going that direction. And then back around, you can see the lights on the trees back here. And then again, as it drives right here behind 1119 King Road, you can see the lights of the vehicle driving by right like that. Okay, now there's multiple other times, like when the car comes in, the camera picks it up, 1112 King Road picks it up coming in this direction, etc. But I'm just showing you sort of that unique, lighting evidence that they're going to be using. So again, I think the Elantra is the glue, the backbone of the case. It puts all the pieces together and really virtually makes the case. You could still make the case without the sheath with the DNA on it. I think an interesting exercise would be to try to figure out which is more important, the knife sheath or the Elantra. Now, just having the Elantra by itself and no knife sheath, you could have made a really strong circumstantial case after determining that white Elantra driving around was Brian Kohberger, and that would have taken a while. You would have to look and try to find who was driving a white Elantra in the area, and then look into each one of them. Law enforcement had already found Kohberger's vehicle, and we had the eyewitness of Dylan Mortensen who said he had bushy eyebrows, and the driver's license showed that he had bushy eyebrows when the WSU officers back in late November found the white Elantra in one of the apartment complex's parking lot. And so eventually it would have led to Kohberger, and they would have had to make a circumstantial case. Now, if you only had the knife sheath but no video of the Elantra, let's say he determined a route where his vehicle was not seen on camera in Moscow, Idaho, could they still make the case? The DNA on the knife sheath would have led to Brian Kohberger, but then that's where an argument by the defense would be much stronger about it just being touch DNA, right? Because you wouldn't be able to have any other evidence showing that he's right there because his phone was turned off. Now they would be able to, after his DNA was found in the knife sheath, they would get the warrants, and they'd see that his phone turned off at 254 in southern Pullman, Washington, and then turned back on again at 448 near Blaine, Idaho. And apparently he was trying to use a VPN, but according to, again, the interview on the DT show with Steve Gonzalez, that when you use a VPN on a cell phone, the cell phone still connects with its ID to the tower. You're just surfing the internet using the VPN on your phone. I mean, so it's pretty ludicrous of Kohberger. He just didn't really think through that one. So anyways, you have at 448 that information, and then you'd be able to find all the other stuff, but without the sheath, the Amazon searches and the Amazon purchases of the balaclava, I guess that would still be in existence because you'd still have Dylan Mortensen's sighting, but the purchase of the K-bar knife sheath would just be circumstantial, that he bought a similar knife to what the wounds look like, but you wouldn't know that it was a K-bar knife other than the fact that the sheath was left there. So it's really pretty interesting exercise, and just trying to think through it. Maybe we'll do a show and we can argue back and forth and figure out what's more important, and then go through all the other evidence that would point in a direction. But the combination of the two having the white Elantra driving around, missing its front license plate, and Brian Koberger's DNA on the knife sheath, as well as the ping data, it absolutely is devastating, just that information. Now, we know law enforcement likely has a ton of other information. So stay tuned to this channel, because we are going to be covering this, and I want to make sure that everybody understands exactly what information is out there, what it means. And we have the 3D models, we have the 360-degree videos, and I think it'll be very interesting. All right, so thank you all very much for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think maybe is more important, and let me know what you think about the information that was in this video regarding the surveillance footage and lights, and tell me if it helped you have a better understanding of exactly what law enforcement has. All right, so thank you again for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.